This is the most fun I've had since I've been in Dallas. I mean, just to be in the meeting room again with the coaches full time. We've been getting, just to go, 8 to 11:30 and break, and you've been talking nothing but, skiing. I haven't had that. So that part's different. We all can use a new voice. We all can use a sense of motivation and challenge and so forth. This is a new challenge for him. These are his words. He's very excited about it. I just think, like anything, he's had a chance to go from the different variations of the offense that was in place. He's getting ready to take another turn as far as the variation of what we're getting ready to do. We're going to build it off of what he has established. My decision to stay with his concepts and so forth is still intact, because I wouldn't have did what I did in 2020 if I still didn't believe in him. And we obviously, as an organization, myself included, feel very strongly about him as our future, and we will definitely build this thing around him.
Mike McCarthy, Cowboys coach and now play caller, with Kellen Moore being fired. It's funny, as the season ended and there was talk about McCarthy's job security, the argument was, well, the team's been 12-5 for 2 consecutive years. Why would you change your head coach? And then how many assistant coaches got thrown overboard? I mean, it was Kellen Moore out, defensive guys out, running backs coach Skip Pete out. I mean, major changes to the coaching staff. So the argument that applied to McCarthy apparently didn't apply as well to the rest of the staff. 3 years in, major surgery as he retools the team. And maybe that's really what it comes down to. He's done well enough that he was able to exert a little pressure on ownership to maybe do some of the things he wanted to do all along. It sounds like he wanted to call plays all along, but the Joneses wanted Kellen Moore, the guy that it felt like they were trying to develop. They're always looking for their Tom Landry.
Yeah,
thought
right.
Jason
Like
Garrett
he was
going
going
to be their Tom Landry. Then Kellen Moore's going to be their Tom Landry.
Right.
And now Kellen Moore got the Tom Landry treatment eventually.
Right. Yeah, the treatment
the same
that Joneses
treatment
gave
they
him.
gave Tom Landry all the way through the door.
Right.
Yeah,
right, exactly. You're right. It's funny, but McCarthy, again, I think you could also look at it, hey, 12-5, sure, 2 years in a row, disappointing offensive performances 2 years in a row in the playoff game. That's the first thing. And I know they had that Buccaneers game this year, and Dak played great, but come on, the Buccaneers were a shell of what we really thought they were or what they could be or anything like that. I mean, it was one of the weaker division winners we've seen in football over the last few years, right? I don't think I'm wrong to say that. So then you go to 49ers, Dak lays an egg. Last year, 2022 season, they played the 49ers at home. Their offense, they were down. They had to kind of come back at the end. There was those issues with the whole clock management there. So, yeah, McCarthy wants things done the way he wants. And I'm interested to see what he does here and how he plays it. I think you and I both I know I was a little outspoken at the end of his time in Green Bay because I thought his offense was a little stale. It's got answers, and it's schematically sound in a lot of ways, and McCarthy's teams are always tough and physical, but you remember at that time, I was always like, man, what are they going to call, another slant with Aaron Rodgers and ask him to jam it in there, or just Aaron make an unbelievable throw? So I'd like to see how he's evolved here, the last few years and his year off, to see what new tricks he might have in the offense and what he took from Kellen Moore and kind of how he infuses this. But you bring Brian Schottenheimer in, I got to think, running the football is the number one thing he wants done, because Schottenheimer, that's his golden ticket. He is one of the better run game coordinators and designers, over the last few years that I've seen, and it just seems like they kind of want to go that way.
And, here's the reality. That's what McCarthy said yesterday. Kellen Moore wants to light the scoreboard up. I think we all would like to see the scoreboard lit up for any team. We like points. McCarthy says, I want to run the damn ball. And that becomes a complicated statement when you've got Ezekiel Elliott with a contract that needs to be reconfigured or else. Mm-hmm. And you've got Tony Pollard recovering from a broken ankle and heading for free agency and likely the franchise tag. Yeah, you got to run the ball with somebody. And you also got to have that great offensive line. I mean, if you have the great offensive line, you can find guys who become your next Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard because you're blocking for him and making huge openings through which he can gain yardage. So it's easier said than done.
Right.
And but it's just, again, it's working. See, they're caught in this conundrum in Dallas where they've deluded themselves on one hand to think they're exactly where they need to be. Maybe we get another shot at the 49ers, we can beat them. We're right on the right track. But then they make all these changes. Like, you're either happy with where you are or you aren't. And this whole thing has felt like a half measure by the Cowboys to try to change without dramatically changing. In the year that Jerry Jones could have made a run at Sean Payton, this was the time. And they've been linked for a long time. And if he was ever going to do it, it was now. And I think that ship has sailed forever. As it relates to Jerry and Sean Payton, I don't know. Maybe there'll be Steven and Sean Payton at some point down the road, well down the road. But it's just a weird vibe from the organization right now, Chris.
Yeah.
I can't figure out whether they're happy with where they are or they're not happy. And this is either taken it to the next level or this is just rearranging the deck chairs. I can't tell what it is.
Yeah, well, I think they're hopeful it's taking it to the next level. I think McCarthy probably sold it to them as I'll take it to the next level and play a style of football more that I want to play that I think is appropriate with this football team. That's where I think it could be.
But now his ass is on the line. That's the thing.
No
if
doubt.
That's the case.
Yeah.
He's written the check.
Well, maybe that's part of the reason why they said it too. All right, let's see him put up or shut up, and then maybe we got to move on. But you're right. I don't think, you always talk about teams that are happy being relevant. The Cowboys are relevant even when they're not, and I think they're probably sick of being just relevant too. So, yeah, they're in limbo. They want a damn Super Bowl. It's like we talked about with Arthur Blank in the first segment, and Jerry's getting up there. He's feeling it. He wants one here. So, I get the feel of, they want to play maybe a little bit more through their defense, control the clock, do that, maybe take some off of Dak Prescott from that way. And that's what I'm excited to see, because when you had Aaron Rodgers, I think McCarthy wanted to run and do more of that, but he was like, damn, it's Aaron Rodgers, so let me just throw more. But maybe this is going to be more of what he likes. And, Dak Prescott is not that. And we saw this year, Dak was not a great year, right? He's certainly not a guy right now that you would look at and go, oh, well, let's just open the field up and let him be Burrow or Allen or Mahomes, and we'll just win the game with him throwing lasers and awesome decisions all over the field. So they're going to take a different approach, it seems like. I'll be interested to see how it works out. But you're right. McCarthy's going to have, definitely more of a spotlight on him, and that's either going to be a good thing for him, or it's going to be a thing that's going to maybe make them say, okay, maybe we need to move on to something else here eventually.
It is funny too. We're there for 2 days, and we're set up. If you're in the room, you get a full appreciation of how it works. I was explaining to my wife the setup last night. They got the podiums all down one side, at which the various coaches and general managers and prospects speak, and then on the other side of the room, we had our setup. Next to us, there was an NFL Network setup that they just had for Tuesday. It was shut down by Wednesday. CBS was next to that. Then there was another NFL Network setup, and then Sirius was down there. So you can literally do the car wash. You can go through the whole thing. And on Tuesday, I was doing the math last night. We had a shitload of people.
We did an 8-hour show.
It was nonstop.
Right.
I mean, it was nonstop.
Right.
I think we had more than 20 in one day.
Right.
And then some of them made it to the show yesterday because we just kept going. After we went off air, we still were doing interviews. Zach Taylor and Howie Roseman. So it's and I say all that because, and I don't want to go too deep into the sausage making process, but it is kind of fascinating to me when a coach is just brand new and hired, and they're trying to create this vibe. Oh, hey, yeah, bring him. Oh, well, yeah, well, we'll bring him over. We'll bring him over. Bring up a new coach. Everything's new. Everything's great. When you got 3 years in and you've started to create a resume and there's some stuff that people are asking questions about, maybe some criticism, I'm sorry, we don't have any availability. Yeah, okay, right. Okay. That's all I'm going to say about that, because it just further underscores what we've known all along. They listen to everything. And if they hear things they don't like, there's two ways they can deal with it. They can either lean into it and engage us and talk to us and maybe try to win us over.
Yeah, right.
Or they can
ignore us.
They can act like, the hell with you guys. We don't like what you said about us. And that's fine. That's your prerogative. It's your choice.
Yeah.
It's just funny because when you see the guys there and it's time to do the car wash, and I don't think McCarthy did anything. It's not like it was just specific to us, but he's feeling the heat. Like I said, he's written the check. He's done enough where he was able to assert himself with the team, get the Joneses to agree, and now he's got to prove it. And if he doesn't, he's going to be gone. Maybe as soon as after this year, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to say that. Well, we'll see. It's a team that's got a lot of talent. They're not going anywhere. We know that. But yeah, style of play, how they look in the playoffs. Yeah, the things we described with the Jones family, their antsiness. Even it's crazy to say, but yeah, they're one of those teams or one of the owners that I could see going, oh, damn, we lost in the wild card game again. I can't take it. We're going to fire you. Even though I don't even know if that would be right. It wouldn't be right. McCarthy has done some very good things there. I don't want that to be taken for granted. I got a lot of respect for what he's done. I've questioned his pass game offense before. So that's probably part of the reason he doesn't want to come talk to you or me. Between you getting on his clock management and me talking about his pass offense in the past, he's probably like, the hell with those two. I don't want to ever talk to them.
Well, and it wasn't just clock management. It's two things. Number one, it's the ridiculous play at the end of the playoff game last year,
right,
where they poorly executed because they poorly planned for the umpire teleporting like in Star Trek through two humans to get to the ball so he could touch it and they could clock it. And then this year, whatever the hell it was they were doing, maybe that's why he didn't want to come on. Maybe he knew first question was going to be, let's draw up what that play was supposed to be at the end of the four. What was going on there? What was Cavante Turpin supposed to do? And we had fun with C.D. Lamb about it.
He was great. What do you want him to do?
That's what
you're trying to do. He was great about it.
But it sure didn't play out that way.
Yeah.
But between that and the whole, hey, they should fire Mike McCarthy and hire Sean Payton, that probably explains why.
You think?
Didn't stop visit. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.